All right, guys, this is Donnie,
And Sandra.
and we are going to go through the past 50 counties. Not each one, but just kind of a brief summation. Some of the things that we have learned, things that we have done to the motorhome to make it a better traveling experience for us. And I'm not going to detail every little thing that we've done. But just some of the major things that makes an impact on the motorhome as a whole. And so maybe some of you fellow RVers can 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 gain some knowledge from this. I usually am running across RVers on our trips in general that they'll sometimes will ask us certain things or we'll talk about certain things and also on the YouTube channel I share some of these things on there, and there's a lot of people that in the comments that will say, man, I didn't know that, hey, thanks for sharing this, and so, or they'll ask us further questions on it. But at any rate, what we're going to do, though, before we do that, is the main question, the number one question that we get asked. Believe it or not, guys, the number one question we get asked more than anything else that we've ever done is, where did we get our map?
Yep.
That is the number one question we get from people. They love it. They think it's the neatest thing. And we've got actually RVers that are going to attempt to do the same thing we're doing. All because of us sharing this whole experience. And so, but where we got it at was Schraderland Designs.
Yes.
Schraderland Designs. All this will come on the screen for you guys, and I'll put the information in the description below. It is called the North Carolina Adventure Tracker. It cost us about $40.
We got it on Etsy.
And if you'll notice here, all of these different colors here. These are the different counties. Now, what they do is they got, Sandy, if you'll take that, they have the counties broken up into sections. So when you look at the map, the actual map itself, it'll tell you Davidson is on 1. So what you do is you look on section 1 and go back. You look on section 1 here. I've got it upside down, but here's section 1, and you find Davidson. And then you look over here on section 1, and then you find the county on here. Peel it off, and then I'll stick it on the map here. But you can make any color you want. You can make any size you want.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's limitations on the length, how big you can make it, how small you can make it. But this right here, guys, is just a neat way to track your progress on where you've been at. And so, but anyway, the next thing, what do we got?
We've got improvements to the RV.
Improvements to the RV. Now, when we got our RV, we got a basic package. We got a basic package. That's what we did, and then we added on what we wanted. Number one thing that we got, two number one things, was the electronic hydraulic levelers from Equalizer Systems. We actually drove to Elkhart, Indiana, and had them put it on. Saved about $2,400. After expenses driving up there, we saved $1,800, guys, by having them do it. And they only charged, I think, $400 or $500 in labor. Is all they charged.
Yep.
And so, but we drove up there. They had 30 amp hookup for us. We spent the night. And then the next day, they had that sucker done in about 3 or 4 hours.
Yep.
It was done, and we were back on the road. We also learned that we are not multi-state travelers.
No.
And so that right there was that was a learning experience for us. We just, I don't know.
We don't need the United States map. We got the North Carolina.
We got the North Carolina. This is where we're going to be at. Even when we finish it, we will still be in North Carolina. And so the next thing we added was the Flex Armor.
Yes.
Flex Armor RV roof. It cost me about $4,500 for a Class C. You guys can get up with them. They also put in our AC.
Yes.
They didn't charge us any more to put in our AC. That is something that is new. That's a Houghton?
Yes.
It's a Houghton.
It's quiet. It's it has a dehumidifier on it. It has a remote.
It's got a remote on it.
It will keep the temperature at a constant, whatever you set it on. So yes.
Yeah, and the thing is
and it's much quieter.
if you want it 70 degrees, it'll keep it at 70 degrees. The only thing is it won't shut off. The fan will continually run, but it's very, very quiet. Very quiet.
The old AC, if we were on a really hot day and we cut it off at some point in time, your ears would be like ringing.
Yeah, it was loud.
Yeah,
It was loud.
so-
But the Flex Armor RV roof, guys, I don't have to do anything to my roof anymore. It's about it's if you was to take 3/4 and stack them up on top of each other, that's how thick it is. I did do a review on it. I'll put a link in the description below. You guys can check that out and see this RV roof. It is worth every single penny, and I have not had to do anything to my roof except just wash it.
Yep.
Worth every penny. So next thing,
Donnie put some more shelving in the cabinet.
more shelving in the cabinets. That was the something I knew we needed a long time ago, and so that added to our space. And I also added another layer of I guess you could say utensil space. And so I added this top layer on here. And well, what I did is I added some sections in there, and then I just added another layer to it. So I basically doubled my my space for utensils. Next thing, mattress. The mattress came from Tochta.
There you go.
Okay, we'll have the I'll have on the screen, and I'll have the information in the description below. If you'll notice our mattress was about 1/4 of how thick this one was. Very uncomfortable. It's basically a piece of foam on a board.
On the board underneath it,
and you could feel the board underneath it. I mean, oh my God, was that thing so uncomfortable. But anyway, we spent about $800-900 on this one. And so it's worth every penny, guys. It's memory foam.
Yeah, that's memory foam. They custom cut the corner.
They cut this corner.
We also got the vapor barrier underneath it.
Yep, they sent a vapor barrier. If you'll see that vapor barrier underneath here, because when you're sleeping, you're going to actually create heat, moisture, and stuff like that. So that vapor barrier keeps that moisture from collecting on the bottom. Mm-hmm. And so that was worth every single dime. And it made our sleeping experience a whole lot better. Yes. And we like to take naps on it too.
Yes, we do.
Next thing.
The Carto Dolly.
Carto Dolly. We used to have a Carto Dolly. If we were multi-state travelers, it would be worth it. But because we are in North Carolina, it really isn't worth it. And it was more of a headache to have the thing. And so now the motorhome pulled it like a charm. Mm-hmm. But after a while, I was like, hey, it ain't but just a few hours from here to here. So why am I connecting this thing up? It's a pain in the rear end.
It was a pain.
And so I just said, you know what? I'm going to get rid of this. We're not going to leave North Carolina. And so I just don't want the extra hassle and maintenance and all that stuff with the thing. So I sold it. And so now Sandra does what we call chasing. And so the Carto Dolly's great. I got it from Acme Carto Dolly. They're in Greensboro, Reidsville area. It's somewhere in that area. And so next thing,
how we find our places.
How we find our places, guys. What we normally do is we'll go online, and we will search for campgrounds in the counties.
Campgrounds first.
That's the first thing we'll do. Now, what we did is, do you have a list? I mean, well, I tell you what, don't worry about showing it. But what I did is a long time ago is I took all the counties and tried to find the Cracker Barrels in every single county.
And it's in this notebook. This notebook is our lifeline.
Yeah, this notebook has all the information on every single county in North Carolina.
Every single county. Where there's Cracker Barrels, we have the state parks in here.
Yeah.
Our stuff with our map.
Campgrounds in those state parks.
Yeah.
Which ones have them, which ones don't. And we're constantly adding to this all the time. We didn't buy this. We actually put this thing together, and it is constantly being added to all the time. Yes. The Cracker Barrels are great. They're free. Yeah. Personally, I think the Cracker Barrels need to join Harvest Host.
Yes.
I really think they need to do that. That would be a whole lot better. They could monitor the people who's coming in and out better. But that's what we used to do. Well, this is before we learned about Harvest Host. Now, when we search for a place to stay, we will not only look for campgrounds first, but then we'll look at Harvest Host. And you can join. You have to be a member. It's I want to say it's under $100. They're always I having deals.
Yeah, they give you like a discount for your first year. I know that.
Yeah, a discount for the first year, and then it may be $100 and some odd dollars. It's usually low. Like,
But it's well worth it.
it is worth every
Yes.
single penny because you get a nice, safe
Mhm.
place to park at for the most part. For the most part, there's some questionable areas in there, but the thing is, guys, for my fellow RVers, I really need to stress to you guys: look at the reviews. Look at the reviews, guys.
Mhm.
People are going to be honest about their stays, and that's the reason why we are very blunt and honest about our reviews. I've had people give me a hard time about my reviews, and this is the thing. You don't want to know just the good stuff. You want to know the bad and the good because it may affect a certain aspect about your visit.
And something we say may be something that somebody else has issues with too. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Some people think we might be a little nitpicky, but it may help somebody else out.
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
goodness. I want to know the bad and the
Yeah.
good. I don't care how nitpicky they are. I want to know
Yeah.
because that way that may
Maybe something
affect.
that somebody else didn't think of.
Yeah. So we have to, and guys, it's the day and age we live in now. And you don't have to sit there and watch the news long before you think we live in a dangerous world now. And so we want to let you guys know the bad and the good and both. We want to try to be as fair as possible. And this is the thing, and this is coming from an ex-deputy sheriff. And so I know what's out there, and so, I'm just trying to help you guys keep your family safe.
But not only did we join Harvest Host, we also joined Boondockers Welcome, and it had the golf courses on there.
And
so
all
that's
this
all together in one app. You can go on your app store and look up Harvest Host, download it, sign up, all that. We also do Hip Camp. We didn't put that on here. We do Hip Camp.
Hip Camp is another one.
Mhm.
Yeah, Hip Camp is another one. And the thing too, on this Harvest Host and Hip Camp, you don't necessarily have to have an RV.
No.
Sometimes they have cabins
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And so,
And Harvest Host also shows you where there's dump stations close
yeah,
by.
there's so much to tell about
Yeah.
these areas, guys, but you really need to go Google these areas and you will see what we're talking about. And so we could spend a lot of time going over the background on them and what they actually are. But the Harvest Host in general, you can stay everywhere. We've stayed in real estate companies,
Mhm.
parking lots. We stayed at ostrich farms. You name it.
Yeah.
You name it. We've been there. And so
and it's not only Harvest Host is not just a North Carolina thing; it's across the country.
it's across the United States. Yeah. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. And there's more people all the time joining. Yeah. And it's to me, I think it's one of the greatest things.
Sometimes you have hookups, sometimes most of the time you don't, but they'll all that will be listed.
It's all listed there, what they have, what they don't have, what you can and can't do. Mm-hmm. And to me, it has really taken the stress off of the safety on a lot of our travels. Now, what's next?
Most unique places.
The most unique places, guys. Here we go. We've got 5 of them.
No sort in order.
Yeah. We didn't put these are, like I said, these are the top 5 places that were unique to us. Mm-hmm. And the first one is
Ellerby Springs Inn and Campground.
Ellerby Springs Inn and Campground. This is in Richmond County.
Yes.
Richmond County. We will have a link of the video we did on it and a link to these folks' businesses in each one of these. So that is one that is very, very unique because it has a bed and breakfast and it has a lot of historical background.
And they did have a restaurant on site, but I'm
not sure if it's open or not. You can check with them. At one point in time, they did open it up. Yeah. Check with them. It's owned by a mother and daughter, and they are super people.
They're very passionate about the history of the place and making improvements and making it a part of the community.
Yeah, I tell you that we will be back there because we're going to be traveling the east side of North Carolina to do those counties. We'll be back to them, and so it's full hookup.
Yes.
And they don't have a whole lot of RV sites, but that's what's so cool about it. They do have a number of them, don't get me wrong, but it is such a cool location. It is really neat. Rich history.
It used to be an old Boy Scout campground, I believe.
Yeah. It's cool. You guys have got to see that. Okay. Next one.
Hot Springs Resort and Spa.
Hot Springs Resort and Spa. They have a campground, and then right across the street, they have areas where they have a resort. A resort where you can get into hot tub that the water is actually taken from the earth. They actually heat that water from the earth. They don't heat it up with anything electronic.
Nope.
They're constantly feeding that hot water in there.
You can
and
see the
so
pipes coming across the creek.
Yeah, so again, guys, remember all these links to the videos we did about them and
what county they're in.
the county and the link to their business will be in the description below, so check them out.
And there's a cute little town right there at Hot Springs.
Yeah.
Also.
Oh, it's known as the
hiking something.
Oh, what's it called? The Appalachian Trail.
Yes.
The home of the Appalachian Trail or town of the Appalachian Trail. Little small place, but it's really neat. Next one.
Mountain Stream RV Campground.
Mountain Stream RV Campground. That's going to be, what county is that in? McDowell County.
That's one of my personal favorites.
It's neat. They have a barbecue there every Saturday. You have to bring your own sides. They provide the encore, I guess you could say.
Entree.
The encore. The encore is barbecue. No, the entree. The entree.
You can provide any sides and desserts and bring your own silverware and drinks.
Yep. Next one.
Gorgeous State Park.
Gorgeous State Park. Guys, this is a very unique area.
It's in Transylvania County.
Transylvania County, and the climate is a rainforest climate, guys. A rainforest climate in North Carolina. You have got to check that out. The only thing is, you got to be careful for bears. There are bears in the area, and recently, within the past several months,
they had to close it down.
They had to close it down for a couple of weeks because a camper, I don't know, they tell you not to leave garbage out or not to cook outside. A bear tried to get into the camper and tore that sucker up. I mean, they tore the sides off of it. And if that bear would have been allowed to go any further, it would have been in their camper because it was taking the siding off the camper. And so,
other than that,
Gorgeous State Park is absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. Be sure to check out that link to that video and you'll see it. All right.
Number 5 is Tanglewood Park.
Tanglewood Park. If you guys want a really neat thing to take your kids at, only RVers can stay there. No tent camping. Now they do have, I think, some cabin rentals. I think I'm not positive on it.
I don't know if
there are some.
I think they are open in the summertime. I don't think at Christmas time, but you can rent the Manor House and go through the Christmas lights.
Yeah, check with them.
You get you can go through the Christmas lights every night you're there, as many times as you want to go through.
Yeah, I tell you what, they fill up quick.
Yeah.
You got to really
and they're only open. They close the first week of December for the season.
Okay.
So you got to get in there between like when the lights start, which is like the week of Thanksgiving, I think, to the first week of December if you want to see the lights.
Yeah, that's that is really it's worth every penny. It's not expensive.
No, I can't remember how much it is. But
I mean, you can go through the lights as many times as you want.
It's full hookup. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, and so next one.
All right, the campgrounds that we have made annual visits to.
These are the areas that we decide to make annual visits out of. What's first one?
Mayberry Campground.
Mayberry Campground
is our favorite.
Mount Airy, North Carolina has Mayberry Campground. These people really, it's a super campground, super area, nostalgic type of going back the way the old towns used to be. We absolutely love it. Check that out.
Blue Ridge Parkway. There's so many things to do. Tanglewood Park.
Okay, we've already talked about that.
And then we got Lake Norman State Park.
Lake Norman State Park, absolute one of the great state park
all the
campgrounds.
State parks are great. You can't go wrong with going to a state park.
So far, I have not been disappointed out of one state park that has a campground.
Carolina Beach State Park.
Carolina Beach State Park is another one. It's you're right in the middle of Wilmington and Southport. Great areas. Again, check out the links below and you'll learn more of that just for time's sake. And so it is worth it, guys. Those areas are we decided, that's been one of the main reasons, I'd say one of the main reasons we wanted to do the 100 counties is to find out the annual places, some of the places that we'd like to make annual trips.
Okay, and then the next thing is the scariest trip we've ever
been on. The scariest trip we have been on was, without a doubt, the Outer Banks trip.
Yes.
The Outer Banks trip, we had no idea. Now, the people that were there, they have these windy seasons, and they told me April and November is when they have a lot of high winds. But they also have these things called king tides, or nor'eastern.
Nor'easter.
Nor'easter?
Mm-hmm.
What? How do you say that?
Nor'easter.
Okay. They to tell you the honest truth, guys, the best to describe this storm or this
it's
activity,
hurricane force.
It's hurricane. It's basically
rain.
like a hurricane.
Yeah.
But when we got there, the campground, a lot of the RVers were leaving. Mm-hmm. And the lady told us, she had a Class A. She said, we just want to let you know that the gale force winds are coming. Mm-hmm. Well, at that time, the winds were already at 40, 45 miles an hour. The winds were incredible. Mm-hmm. So we asked the office, and the office said, oh, no, you're fine. We usually have high winds on April and November. You might get stuck here for a couple days, but that's about it.
The roads flood. The tide comes over the road and the roads flood.
Oh my goodness.
And we did get stuck on the island.
We did get stuck there.
It was, and the dogs nearly would blow over every time we go outside.
Yeah, it was 60 to 65 mile an hour winds we had. Crazy. It was shaking the motor home.
Was very nervous.
Yeah, it tore down piers. Mm-hmm. It destroyed a few homes. Mm-hmm. And guys, I told Sandra, I said, we'll never do this again. But this was down at...
no idea. That was the first time we've ever been to the Outer Banks.
Yeah.
So we had no idea.
That was Frisco Woods Campground. Frisco Woods Campground. Now, the campground itself...
is gorgeous. It's right there on the Sound. It's so nice. There's a little, what do you call that little channel that's cut out in the middle of it? What's that called?
I don't know.
Anyways.
It's right near the Sound. But
yeah,
I will say...
It's really nice.
I will say this, though. The campground was spot on. Mm-hmm. Really nice area. Beautiful area. And what else?
The most unusual urban legend or ghost story.
The most unusual urban legend and ghost story, guys, is what is it? The haunted Spencer Mountain.
Yes.
The haunted Spencer Mountain. Again, I will put a link in the description below for you guys to check that out. For my Facebook people, all the links will be above. Mm-hmm. Check it out. Just real briefly, though. Not going through the actual ghost story itself, mm-hmm. there is a ghost town. Mm-hmm. There is a ghost town that is in that area that supposedly at the time that I was relating the story, only two people lived in the town. And they have 3 or 4 positions, government positions that are still open, that have not been filled. The area does consider that town to be a actual working government. But they have actual government positions there that have not been filled. And they said that if any of the 2 people that live there was to put their name on the ballot, they'd get the job. Yeah. They'd get the job. But that is the most unusual because it's just, don't get me wrong, all the urban legends and ghost stories are weird, but they do have a factual base. Most of them have a factual base to them that has been kind of twisted and turned, and there's been some fanciful type stuff thrown into it. And so, but some of them have some actual factual based on it. And there's still lots of ghost stories and urban legends still yet to come. All right, guys, I think that is going to do it. We got 50 counties left to go. And so we have learned a huge amount that is going to make the second half go a whole lot easier than we started off doing. And so we have learned a tremendous amount about RVing, campground, and location stays, how we filter them out. And so, we are implementing those new things, those new type of tactics, and that is making our stays a whole lot less stressful than they were when we first started. Mm-hmm. But other than that, guys, we have 50 to go, and by God, we're going to stay in all 50. And so the 50 that's left. And so, at any rate, you know what one thing we didn't mention about how we search for our areas? We go on to camping in the Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Facebook group.
Yes.
Facebook group. We did not mention that. That is one of the areas that if we absolutely cannot find a location in a county, then what we'll do is I will go on there and reach out, and there usually is somebody that says, I know somewhere that you can stay. That's happening. And so that is usually the last thing I'll do. And so
we are very grateful for that.
We are very grateful and for that. So we have stayed on private property. We have stayed on church parking lots. Mm-hmm. And so I wish more churches would open up their parking lots, go on Harvest Host, and so but at any rate, they're great locations to stay at. But guys, be looking forward to the next one. We got 5 counties we're going to do all at one time. Some really wild locations. You guys take care. I hope that you've learned some things. I know we kind of went over this, pretty fast, but just for time's sake, again, all of our stuff is on our YouTube channel, the Journey Through NC. Check them out. And it has all of our locations that we've been at, the urban ghost stories, little places that we went to along the way, festivals and stuff like that. But you guys take care. We love you. And you guys be looking forward to the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.